Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Guile here, and welcome back to another Supreme Commander Epic. That's right, it's that time of the month when replays last just a little bit longer than usual, so you know what to do if you haven't got time to watch it now. Dump it in your Watch Later playlist and catch it when you do have the time. I won't be offended, and it gives me an extra view, so it's not the only motivation, but it sure helps. What have I got for you today? It's custom 6v6 business with almost a clean sweep of pros. One Joe thrown in there for good measure, but we won't hold that against him. It's also going down on a generated map, so let's give these puppies some time, allow them to gate him while we make our introductions. We'll call this Team 1 up here at the top, this Team 2 down here at the bottom. Going first for Team 1 over here on the far left to begin with, sporting the season's fabulous Vivacious Violet, but mistakenly calling himself Blue. It's Blue Lynx. He's going Aeon, opening first land. Team member number 2 above him to the right in lurid green, Johanza. Sounds like a some kind of I don't know, motorbike or piano. No, that's Yamaha, isn't it? Anyway, he's going Seraphim, opening first land. Team member number 3 to his right in Spetsnaz green, it's Dr. Soviet. How terribly appropriate, opening first land in UEF. Team member number 4 above him in baby blue, almost in electric blue, but it's not. It's baby blue. Edua opening first land, going Aeon. Last on the front row for Team 1, it's everybody's favourite lead dev. Everyone, round of applause. You can tell if you don't do it using his IT business. It's Jip. There he is, opening first land, going UEF in Cyanide Cyan. And last but not least, on the back row for Team 1 in Ferrari Red, it's Tron, another Aeon. Feeling the Aeons are Team 1, opening first land. So that's 3 Aeons, I believe, and 2 UEFs and a Seraphim for Team 1. Let's introduce Team 2 now, starting over here on the right-hand side, going Cybrin, and appropriately named Control K, opening first land in baby pink. It's Control K. Team member number 2 down here in Pontiff White, it's Disassembly Drone. Disassemble, Stephanie, reassemble. Answers in the comment section below if you know what that's a reference to. And if you get that without looking it up, we can be friends. He is going UEF, opening first and second land, and in Pontiff White. I think I said that already. Team member number 3, having left his base already, making a play for the mass in the middle, which we'll have a look at in just a second. It is Slado Noob going Aeon in Burgundy Red. He has opened first land, going second air. Next up, team member number 4 down here, also leaving his base. It's Nightblood, another UEF, this time in electric blue, opening first land, second air. Lastly, on the front row for Team 1, moving in towards the centre, Bury the Light. But bury it where, I wonder? Could be some sort of satanic ritual, or maybe some impromptu camping sex game. Guile, what are you talking about? It's a family show. It is a family show. It's just all of your family have to be over 18. Anyway, he is going Seraphim, opening first land in Elephantine Grey. And last but not least, over here on the right-hand side, going Mellow Yellow, it's Wi-Fi. And he is going Cybrin, opening first land. So there we have it. Have a quick look at the map, because it looks like this thing's going to escalate very quickly as these ACUs steam towards each other. That is the reclaim situation. You can see some juicy mass fields, no doubt encompassing many wrecks over here in the centre. Some minor ones on this side of the map down here, and then some slightly larger ones up at the top as well. That's a very big one, 6,000 mass over here. You can see all of the wrecks that's comprised of. So lots and lots of reclaim to be had. In fact, we've already got some drops coming in here from Control K, determined to get his hands on some of that early mass. That engineer is probably going to get wasted though by Edua, who is marching up on it real quick in the center in this little ringed trough, if you will. Well, that's a minor trough. This is a full-on depression down here with a couple of plateaus thrown in there. We've got Slado Noob and Dr. Soviet, who have passed one another and are going for each other's mass field. It's quite simple. If Dr. Soviet doesn't copy him, he's going to end up losing out on at least half the mass in his own mass field, and then potentially you'll end up trying to fight over this mass field, which is deeper in enemy territory when there are more opposing T1 ground forces to be concerned about. And over here we've also got Disassembly Drone, who is Scoopy Scoopson. Is that a little ghetto gunship? I mean, it's a modest one. He's thrown one lab in there for good measure, but I think he's also got 2 engineers on board. So just for pot shots, really. I don't know why. Maybe he picked that up by mistake. So it's not a proper ghetto gunship, but it's not even a moderately successful ghetto gunship. You can see how long it would take to tickle its way through some of these inbound tanks. But inbound tanks are on the way, and they're going to cut their way through these engineers, which are only going to get their hands on just a little bit of mass. What's going on up here? Control K and Edua getting into it as they fight over this mass field. Edua has a bit of a head start on some of this reclaim on the ground, and we will take a look at the reclaim figures once this early game phase is over to see which team fared better in the early Scooperson phase. What have we got here? We've got some inbound tanks, though, from Edua, and virtually nothing on the way in terms of support for Control K. Control K finds himself all by his lonesome, and he is sporting that tinfoil Cybrin ACU chassis with much fewer HP than his contemporaries. Starts only with 10,000 HP, and he's already down to about 5,000. Lots of Auroras. We've even got some inbound units here from Jip. We could be facing our first ejection just over 5.5 minutes gone into this game. Control K finds himself in a very sticky situation indeed. Down below 2,000 HP, deep into the red, not even trying to make a play to get out of it. And he Control K's his comm just to try and inflict a little extra damage on the surrounding units, put some damage down on Edua's comm. Helpful teammate, he says, directed at disassembly drones. So the petty recriminations have started already. Always nice to see. You can't blame me, says Slado, who is all the way down here. I mean, I'm sure he can blame everybody. It's always the way of things. But no, I think there's only one person to blame for that, and that is Control K. If he'd have gone a different race, he might have been able to get out. No, there was no getting out of there. He needed some inbound support. He was up a certain creek without a certain implement. Let's just leave it at that. Down here at the bottom, Bury the Light has moved up, grabbed a few mexes, although he's not going to finish construction of that. He is playing it more cagily, having just lost one of his teammates to exuberant early game maneuvers. He is not going to get his ACU stuck in the same situation. So all of this inbound pressure here from Blue Lynx will take down a Mex or two, but will not likely bag a commander. Blue Lynx, who already has double gun upgrade on his commander. So Aeon Sniper Comm in play for Team 1 and moving forward on Bury the Light's position. Bury the Light has no upgrades on that Seraphim commander as yet. Does, however, have an upgraded land headquarters and is currently producing Ilshivas. If we can get enough of those out on the field, certainly we'll be able to chop down this T1 spam without too much difficulty. The problem of the inbound upgraded commander, though, still very much remains. Gun upgrade on the way for Nightblood, 70% done on that one. We've also got a gun upgrade on the way for Disassembly Drone. It's another UEF commander. And we've got a T2 upgrade on the way for Edua. That upgrade choice probably influenced by the huge quantity of HP he's missing after that early game encounter with Control K. This will restore a nice chunk of hit points and make him feel just a little bit more secure. And he's in a pretty defensible position, to be fair. This is a very secure rock formation. If you can move up here and start throwing down some point defense, that will be a difficult nut to crack for encroaching commanders. One of which here is Wi-Fi, still unupgraded. He looks like he's moving up to an encounter with Jip, who's also not got any upgrades on that comm yet. Wi-Fi, who's moved his comm up. Wi-Fi is actually the rear guard, potentially, arguably, air player for Team 2 at the bottom right-hand corner, but he's bringing his comm into the fight to supplement that lost firepower with Control K buying the farm. Tron is happy to stay in his base. Not quite so urgent for him, as they still have a full complement on their front line. Jip advancing, looking to get him some early kills and pursue some ranks in vet. At least get him some of the way towards it. Wi-Fi doing very much the same as these two jostle for some basic positioning. Ejua has completed his 2-2 upgrade and is now moving forward to join the party. Disassembly drone nearby, so Wi-Fi doesn't have to worry too much about being cut off, although of course if he starts to lose a fight against Ejua and is forced to drop back to the main base, that's something Wi-Fi is going to need to take a look at as the game progresses. Keep an eye on. Still suffering the after effects of a summer cold, chaps, so I will do my very best to keep the coughing and spluttering to a minimum. That doesn't add a huge amount to the cast's value. Wi-Fi now dropping back just a little bit here as Jip advances on the ground. Jip with a T2 land HQ somewhere else. He's now upgrading frontline factories to T2. So this is a pretty good position right now at the top for Team 1. They're over the midpoint, and if they can shut Wi-Fi and Disassembly Drone out of this section and confine them to Disassembly Drone's main base down here, well, I suppose that's not his main base, is it? That was his main base. This was Control K's old base, but I suppose it's now Disassembly Drone's forward base. But if they can lock this area down, maybe a cut off here, that will set them in good stead for the game going forward and secure them some extra resources in the form of these mass points here. Sticking with this for the moment, although actually it's probably worth just checking in on Soviet and Slado Noob. Dr. Soviet incidentally is rocking a 2100 rating, Slado Noob a flat 2000 rating. So these two are some of the top pros in the game. Ejua is at 2300 and Disassembly Drone is a 2100. So these are some of the more talented players on show today. Dr. Soviet down to about 10,000 HP, Slado Noob on about 8,600. Really see the difference between the commanders. But Dr. Soviet with 3 ranks in vet on top of that as well, 47 kills to his name. Slado Noob with just 1 so far, although that might soon change. So Wi-Fi has dropped back, currently in the forward base of Disassembly. Might just call him Drone, it's easier. But Drone still up front fighting the good fight against Ejua. It is a Zeph amp gun upgrade and a what you call it, nano repair on Drone versus gun and T2 engineering suite on Ejua. I'm surprised he's not throwing emplacements down here. This is an easily defensible choke point for him to lock down. Jip with a TAC missile launcher under shield coverage. This is turning into a nice little fire base here for him to launch an attack out from and try and secure the next bit of territory. So Ejua has started erecting a fire base, but it's just a little bit more conservatively placed than the choke point. Slado has pushed out meanwhile a little bit, and Soviet taking a bit of a battering. Gets a nice rank in veterancy there though, so that's now a 4-star commander. He's only got 1 more hit point jump, 1 more rank in veterancy that he has available to him, and then he will be maxed out. But at full health, that is now a 16,800 hit point commander. Down to the bottom left hand corner, Blue Lynx and Bury the Light posturing with one another. Blue Link's now with a personal shield to add to that double gun upgrade we saw on him earlier. That is a scary looking commander right there. A full-on 19,000 HP if you count full health and the shield coverage. But I like what I'm seeing here. Bury the Light utilizing some sniper bots. Got them under shield coverage, mobile shield coverage, but it's better than nothing. And just using them to keep Blue Links at arm's length. Was that a sensor upgrade? Yes, it was. Interesting. And he switched that out. I'm sure we saw him with a gun upgrade in a T2 engineering suite a while ago. So he's gone for sensor. That is what things look like from his position. Sure, he had that quantum accelerator before. Grants the ACUU long-range Omni sensor with increased optical range. Well, it's not providing much at the current time, but that's because he is bingo on power. I'm waiting for that to refill just a little bit to give us a better read. But it's not going to happen anytime soon. What is he doing that's sapping up all of his power, I wonder? Well, he is upgrading to T3 mexes in the main base. And I said we were going to look at the reclaim situation, but there's not an awful lot to tell. It's pretty even. There's a 2.5k difference, or a 2 and a bit k difference between Team 2 and Team 1. Slightly in favour of Team 2, but it's barely noticeable. So very, very even on that front. Income-wise, about a 60 mass advantage for Team 1, and overall they are up well, a decent amount, almost 30k. Not terrible for 16 minutes, but at the same time this is a 6v6, lots of players. You have to sort of split that amongst all of the participants, and suddenly 30k doesn't sound like an awful lot. Jip with personal shield now as well. Disassembly drone with personal shield. These guys have identical upgrade setups. UEF against UEF. But these Titans might just make the difference on the ground as long as drone doesn't let them get overcharged by Jip's commander. Keeps them in the fight. Dewar won't be coming to the rescue anytime soon if Jip gets in trouble. He's routed to the spot on a T3 upgrade. Down in the bottom left-hand corner, some probing attacks on the ground. Bury the Light's actually taken a little bit of fire here. He's down to about 4,700 HP. Mobile shield gens have taken a bit of a battering. Shield not currently working. And look at this, expendable T1 bombers from Yehonza just deployed to take care of some of these very, very dangerous but very weak sniper bots. Definitely a good decision. T1 bombers, 2 a penny. Sniper bots, just that little bit more costly, to say the least. In fact, I'm curious. We've got a little bit of time. Let's just have a quick look. Actually, I don't even need to do that. Oh, all of his sniper... Oh, no, they're not. There's some here. So there we have it. Mass cost 960. Let us find a T1 bomber, or we could just go to one of the factories. There is Ye Old Air Factory. There we have it. 960 mass versus 90 mass. So you can see the economy there in that engagement. It's a good matchup if you can find it. Disassembly drone having some success against Jip's base here, his forward base, with some of these Viper mobile missile launchers. Needs to try and keep them away from the commander and some of these patrolling T2 pillars if he can. But the shield has been taken out. Buzzkill down, and a Triad that's been destroyed also. Now we're seeing some sniper bots out from Edua, who are just looking to flank Drone as he presses his advantage against Jip. Never actually know the convention with Jip. Jip, if you're watching, and I know you are, never miss anything I do. Such a loyal, devoted viewer. But if you are watching, is it Jip or Yip? I know some of the Continentals love to go easy with that J sound. Terribly upset when they changed GIF to SIF here in the UK. Still lose sleep over it. Continentals had trouble with the J sound. These are the sorts of things that preoccupy my mind, or what's left of it. Now Edua advancing forward, and now he starts setting up some emplacements in this little breach here. Drone is going to have to evaluate his positioning here. He's done a really good job. He has annihilated Jip's forward base. He can back up to safety and not lose any sleep over whether or not he's fought courageously. Oh my goodness me, but he could be in trouble here. Lovely little Rankin veterancy. Literally saves his bacon, at least for now. Was deep, deep into the red. Just a couple of more shots would have done him. But he's back up to 5,300, and he's got some reinforcements as well. And not just any reinforcements. We've got a couple of inbound Percys here. Jip has a big old HP buffer, so he's not really in any danger, and he's also playing it pretty cool, dropping back in time. Nice little air engagement over the top of this ground battle. Tron picking off a few aircraft, but then getting badly beaten on the withdrawal as Wi-Fi keeps pace with those withdrawing fighters and knocks out, I don't know how many, but quite a few. And Drone wisely withdrawing that commander to a safer position. He's thrown down a ton of T1 land factories and is going full Medusa spam. That's going to be his tactic for overrunning this position. Bringing in some disposable T1 bombers as well, because why not? Out come the Harbingers to shut down this incursion. Drone needs to be a little bit careful here. We have got multiple Oblivion turrets. Still got that personal shield, but it's still not at full health. It's at about 14,000 hit points out of 19,000. Really can plummet quickly when you're taking a lot of fire. Much quicker than you think. We've got some clink hammers going down here for Disassembly Drone, who is, I'm going to say, handling things up here at the top pretty nicely. All by himself, facing off against two commanders, one of which is the top-rated player in the game at 2,300. Edua double shielding his position. Up to 5 frontline Oblivion turrets and 1 or 2 behind. More disposable T1 bombers brought in to weaken the shield. Could do with a bunch more Vipers. Although actually we do have Volcanoes in play. Tactical missile defense. Ready to cause problems, but the Percivals can make a real difference. Just look at the hammering they unleash when they come into contact with that shield. And now the Oblivion turrets drop like flies. Suddenly that position is weakened. He is devastating right now. Fully 5-starred commander, 92 kills to his name, and holding the front line up here valiantly. I did see we've got our first experimental on the field, I think from Slado. It's not that one, it is this one. GC heading northwards, potentially right towards this fight. Have they spotted the trouble? They have spotted it. Incoming. Yeah. Be very, very afraid. Time for comms to drop back if you're on Team 1, and that's exactly what they're doing. Oof. As related to the takedown of Edua's forward base, I would imagine. Random stray clink hammer shells flying wayward. Down at the bottom left-hand screen, nothing has been happening at all since we last checked in on it. Blue Lynx has dropped back to his forward position under shield coverage. Bury the Light has gone back much, much further, well behind the front line of the main bases. But look at this. First real ground pressure we've seen from Yhonza, taking down some forward mexes there belonging to Nightblood. Nightblood, who's not too far away. He's got his comm in his main base. Got some clink hammers going up there. And there the GC has reached that little choke point. Now this next base, which has got an Omni in it, actually. Wonder if Edua changed. Ooh, look. What's going on here? Jip evacing his commander further back. Doesn't want to get caught out by that GC. And Edua has just evac'd on the ground. That is interesting. I wonder why he felt the need to get that Omni. Especially when he was going to build an Omni up front anyway. 26 minutes down in this game. One player out. Early doors, considering. We're just before minute 6. Control K bowed out, but Drone stepped up well and has handled this very nicely indeed. And now with the emergence of the first experimental in the game, some pushback emerging from Team 2. We have another experimental down here for Yhonza. That's a chicken. Looked like he was thinking about an attack, but I guess the fact that we've got Ravagers down here, we've got Percy's, Nightblood's base looking just a little bit too much to handle right now. And now we're getting GCs and other experimentals out all over the place. Ooh! That GC cuts north and Jip nearly gets caught out, evacing his commander to much safer territory. And his little frontline fortification of manufactories and whatnot is now getting absolutely eviscerated. Slado Noob, I don't even know if that was a maneuver towards the comm or if he was just giving this inbound GC from Edua a little bit of room so he can still inflict some damage. Mercy strikes being brought in just to pick off any HP they can. Bury the Light. I'm okay. Slado, you have your opponent. My opponent doesn't do anything. Ooh, okay. People getting upset now about him attacking other people. Seems unnecessary to me. Oh, goodness me. Don't get too close to this fight with your commander. There's a GC there. Drone. Do they know it's there? I mean, he can see it. He's willingly going towards it. I guess he feels with... I think this is a horrible decision. What are you doing? I've been singing his praises. He wants to go in and help overcharge this down. I guess he thought that with a GC on his side, oh, a nice maneuver in behind it to try and block some of that fire. It worked temporarily, but bosh! To be fair, they actually nearly got it with that little maneuver. But that was a full health GC. Sure, if the inbound GC is at half health or something and you've got that many hit points on your comm, yeah, then maybe. But that was very, very risky. You see people do stuff like that when you've got a fully tooled up comm against the Monkey Lord or something. But a GC with twice the hit points, no thank you. So now Team 2 have lost 2 men. They are 2 men down when it was all going really, really well as well. Jip had fallen back and nearly got himself in a pretty pickle with his commander. Had to evac that twice, essentially. Slado cut down everything on this little bridge section here. Was winding his way back. Has still got his GC in pretty good health. All being fair. It's got about 77,000 hit points on it. Of course, the problem comes, the deeper this goes into enemy territory, the more likely you're going to run into a massive horde of gunships that you cannot really deal with. But now we're getting some proper combat going down in the bottom left-hand corner. It's been a while. All of these ladies down here have forgotten what a real fight looks like. GC for Blue Lynx getting double teamed, although, well, not really, because this chicken is behaving like a real chicken and turning tail and running. But there is another GC. Oh, look at that. And PD all the way down here. That was never going to end too well. In fact, with the numbers of experimentals Team 2 have down here, I now fear for the health of Blue Lynx Southern Army force, and indeed his little outpost down here. We have some inbound forces from Dr. Soviet looking to chop down some of these mass points that Bury the Light has been taking advantage of. Excuse me, I've just popped my headphones out, so now I can't hear a thing. Sound being very, very important. Typically it's that sort of time where I imagine a nuke goes off and I miss it. Not quite at that stage yet. So we've got 292 ASFs there for Wi-Fi, plus another 12 that are bingo on fuel. Tron with 335. So Team 1 faring a little better in the air game. Air hasn't played an important or pivotal role in this one yet, but there's plenty of time for that. We're 2 men down. It is a 6v4 now in favour of Team 1. And how does the eco situation look? Well, it's 2.2k versus 2.1k income. And it looks as if there's about 145,000 mass, something there or thereabouts, between these two teams right now in terms of total mass accrued. Reclaim figures. Team 2 faring a little better on that front. That only makes the income situation look worse. Their reclaim figures 192 versus 130k. That's massive. And yet they are down 100 and whatever it is. 140 odd thousand mass overall. So a much stronger economy functioning for Team 1, who haven't yet lost a player. So it's not too hard to believe. Lots and lots of chatter going off. Lots of it is functional messages, though, about stuff being produced. Oh, someone spotted a nuke launcher, or is he suggesting to build one? No, that is a word from Control K, who's still watching from beyond the grave, talking about the progress of Edua. And there is the strategic missile launcher he's concerned about, alongside its own strategic missile defense. So people getting tooled up now for the late game. We've seen the first round of experimentals coming out. Won't be long, I'm sure, before the big guns start emerging. And talking of big guns, there we have it. First round of static T3 artillery nearly complete. disruptor there for Wi-Fi. Let's have a look at what he can reach with that. It is a 20 by 20 map. And yeah, you can reach pretty much everything. Some of these air factories in the backfield are out of range just. Tron hasn't really moved from there this whole game. Happy to sit under shield coverage. Let everybody else do the fighting. A real gentleman, or a real general, sits on the hill, sipping champagne, as Rimmer would say. Directing the battle. Inbound Galactic Colossus from Edure, looking to reclaim the territory which was so rudely bruised and beaten by Slado Noob's own GC on its rampage through this bridge. And we've also got a Fat Boy inbound now from Jip. Look at what's brewing over here in the south. Major experimental fighting underway. 1, 2, 3, 4 Ithotas belonging to Bury the Light and Night Lord's Fat Boy bombarding at range versus 2 GCs and a third GC which is a lot further north belonging to Yohonza. This is a weak position right here for Team 1. Something that they should be a little concerned about, this southern flank. Bury the Light seemingly, every time I check down here, seems to have an advantage. Yohonza with quite a lot of sniper bots. If you can keep those alive, you can do some good range. Get there in the end. Do some good damage at range. But it all depends on being able to keep them alive. And now look at the experimental battle that's underway here. That first GC just obliterated. Still 4 operational Ithotas for Bury the Light, although there's that inbound sniper fire we were talking about. One of them is pretty badly damaged. In fact, 2 of them are badly damaged deep in the red down here. But that second GC of Blue Lynx has been eliminated. We have that third supporting GC inbound from Yohonza. I don't think that's going to be able to save this base. That being said, Bury the Light needs to keep those Ithotas on the move. That one just got a nice rank in veterancy. One of them down. Ion Storm unleashed. Looks like it's going to do some good damage to the inbound GC, however. Bury the Light separates the one that's being engaged to put some fire down, and now that's another Ion Storm that's going to proc right on top of the GC. That third really badly damaged Ithota makes it out of danger, and the lead Ithota went down as well. So that's a good result, really, for Team 1 with the numbers they were facing. But check this out, Jip in real trouble here, down to 2,000 hit points, deep into the red. Massive Percival incursion from Slado Noob, overrunning this forward position. Jip with depleted shield and depleted tank on his core ACU hit points. Does have relief coming in from Edure, who's brought in a GC from the south. Jip takes another volley, down to 1,200 hit points this time. Oh, he evades that one inbound fire, and that last Percival dies out. That was very close indeed. Jip nearly toast there at 36 minutes, but the attack is shut down. And not only that, he's going to hold on to this little section of the field here. Decent reclaim field to be had. There's some, look at all of the mass. There's like 80,000 mass there, 80, 90,000 mass. That's pretty good going. Hearing lots of T1 bombers dropping their payloads. Not exactly sure where that's going down, or even if it's it's probably down here actually. Bury the Light with the bombing runs in the southwest. But look at this. Look at all of the mass Blue Lynx has got down there. He's got 71,000 right on his front doorstep. That's going to help him finish the next batch of Colossus in pretty good order. Now, what's happening over here? We're up to 2 emissaries for Tron, working on a third. Of course, we had that disruptor. Oh my goodness, and a Yolona-Os. We are making game enders, people. Nuke out from Team 2.
Strategic launch
and it's
detected.
heading due west over towards Blue Lynx. So we're going to hit this base, potentially killing all of this mass. Although it might go a bit deeper over here next to the installations. This fat boy could be in trouble. No anti-nuke on this side of the field. Goodness me, it's going to land almost right on top. Goodbye, fat boy. Wow. Was that another nuke from Team 1, or did we just miss a comm kill? I'm not seeing. So yeah, missed another nuke out from Team 1. Apologies for that. Dr. Soviet right at the top left-hand corner. Oh, wow. Is he teleporting somewhere? He is. Where's he going? He disappears, and it's more of a kind of functional play. He's not going after any kind of tele-snipe or anything like that. That nuke from Team 1 destroying a few mass points up front. Probably a bunch of units also. Whaler incursion? Oh no, sorry, that's Wi-Fi's. Not incursion at all. Whalers returning from sortie after not getting themselves killed, which is always a good thing. Megalith and Fat Boy guarding the front line here for Slado Noob, who has now inherited the responsibility of control for this northern edge. With the demise of both Control K and Disassembly, he's got a lot to contend with all by his lonesome up on that corner of the map. Now these emissaries correctly identifying the threat. They've managed to take down the disruptor over here, but they're still firing, of course, because this is the location of the Yolona-Os, which has been completed and is now firing its first nuke. And I imagine
launch detected.
that will be sent straight into the backfield. You'll want to take down all of this as best you can. You can see that's the locale. I'll get there in the end. The locale or location for the nuclear strike. And where that's a hit, of course, it would tear a ruddy great hole in everything over here. But there's actually quite a lot of strategic missile defense around. That alone up front has got 2 anti-nuke missiles in it. And that is all you need to take down the super nuke. But of course it won't be long before the next nuke is ready. Already 2/3 done. That is how quick that thing recharges. And I'm not convinced it's got a lot of assistance. When you get lots of assistance, that thing is rapid, bro. Rapid, bruh. Fat Boy's doing donuts, trying to evade inbound Fat Boy fire. Tron literally hasn't moved. I don't think he's moved at all. He built his core stuff and he's just sat there. But hey, if you don't need to, you've got all of these lackeys up front. And did we see that Blue Lynx had to go? Yeah, Blue Lynx have to go. So he's transferred, regrettably had to transfer control over to Yohonzo, who's now handling everything on the southern tip of their formation, and his comm just languishing at the edge of the map over here. Next nuke takes one anti-nuke from that front SMD, but there's more waiting further back. That is out, but look, we've got another one over here. That's got 3 in it, and I imagine that trajectory still covered. Yeah, look at that. So over here there's another one that's got 1 in it. This one hasn't got any in it yet, but it's not far off its first, so it's going to take a while for this Yolana Os to break through. Meanwhile, this position is under continuous bombardment from the emissaries of Tron.
Strategic launch detected.
Don't know whether you mix things up here, because I'm not convinced you have that much time. But have they done a proper recce? That's the thing. Are they aware of what they're up against? There's a lot of unestablished. So no, look at this. Look at all these SMDs that Team 2 don't know exist. You could probably guess from all of the engineers clustered around them. But it's not the same as getting a real good look at it. Top is F'd apparently from Slado. Oh, he's talking about over here. There are a bunch of GCs coming his way. He's dealing with it pretty well though. But this is his life now. You know, forget any pretensions of pushing out through the valley.
Strategic launch detected.
This is taking up everything, just holding this front line right now against the Dewar and occasional attacks from Jip. Big old fight down here. Look at all of the Ethotas that Bury the Light is churning out. Trouble is with those, it's just the sheer number of lightning storms. Those ion storms, when they die, really does hamper their progression. And this 2-on-2 situation is not going to fare well for the Ethotas, especially with the extra additional coverage of those mobile shield gens from Yhonza. This is just never going to break through. He's going to have to pick a different target. Wonder if he could get one over here. You might stand a chance of killing Jip.
Strategic launch detected.
Saucy little run-by attempt. Trouble is, there are Ravagers in this base with a very, very long reach indeed. So another nuke out. Inbound once again. Novak satellite completed. That silo's empty. That silo's empty. That's got 3 in it. New emissary under construction. This has got 3 in it. That's got 1 in it. Yeah.
Strategic launch detected.
I think Wi-Fi is going to have to seriously entertain the possibility, although he is
Strategic
absolutely powering through these nukes now. Counter nuke out from a Dewar. Wonder where that's headed. Support commanders defending. Look at this in the bottom left though. Fantastic progression here from Bury the Light. A little help from Nightblood. Oh, this time he's dropped short, and that is going to take out a Dewar's nuke launcher and most of his main base. A Dewar who was pulling in 389 mass per tick. Now down to 255. What? Wow, okay. Wi-Fi. Wow. Wi-Fi stood in the area next to the Yolana Os. And the emissaries from Tron finally broke through the shield. And the ensuing explosion took him out. I guess he was too close, maybe, to a reactor. Or maybe he might have just got a couple of emissary shells to the noggin. That'll do the trick. So yet another man down. for Team 2. It's now a 6v3. And they've lost their Yolona Os. However, they are making some good progress in the south. Bury the Light deserving some props for that. Blue Link's old base under control of Yehonza, about to be eradicated. Goodness me, look at Fortress Slado. That's a lot of Gunthers he's got queued up. He's busily trying to erect them as fast as humanly possible. Blue Link's about to get wiped out by a handful of Percys inbound from Night Blood. Support commanders going pop. Actually, these Ithotas reaching Yehonza's main base now. Next Ithota is not far off being done. There goes Blue Links. Interesting, so they've wheeled left away from the main base. Yehonza's comms not that far away. I don't think they're going to catch him in time. Air pressure being brought to bear. Lots of disposable T1 bombers from Tron and a whole wave of Janus from Dr. Soviet. But there's another push over to the east. Two pretty healthy looking Ithotas, or one very healthy and one half dead one, I should say. And the inbound fatty for Nightblood. This is a ballsy attack from Team 2. They had to make something happen. Lots of infrastructure getting carved up here under this attack. Oh, and there go all of the engineers, all that build capacity that was being used to pump out more Ithotas up in smoke. Ooh, a Scathis under construction now for Bury the Light, who has taken control of all of Wi-Fi's stuff. Percy's reaching the main base of Dr. Soviet now. This is a stunning push through the south from Team 2. Novex satellite very nearly dead. Look at these Ithotas go. Worth splitting these up, I think, and that's exactly what he's doing. Got a massive wave of Zuis inbound as well. Suicide mortars looking to clear up all of this half-dead infrastructure. Edua, of course, lost his main base to the super nuke. This is taking a bad turn for Team 1. They are having really good success over here. Slado hanging on by the skin of his teeth. Just about able to hold on to his base. That Duke is in peril. Takes some fire, but then the GC kills it off. There's just a continual stream of units inbound from Team 1. Meanwhile, March of the Chickens continue. Dr. Soviet's base has all but been eradicated. We have a little forward base over here. But look at this. That's 3 bases down. And another whole base if you count Edua's loss to the super nuke. And now there's infrastructure in the backfield that's under threat from this Zui spam. And a couple of Percys that are moving up, having just finished off Blue Link's redundant comm. What a wonderful, wonderful counter-attack from Team 2. Scathis almost complete. It's going to be hard to break through this shielding. Tron has a lot of shield coverage in here. That is a very densely populated base, though. If he can get through there, it's going to cause massive damage. He can break through that shielding. How many emissaries has he got now? He's got 3. Oh, he's got 4. And that's a lot of inbound damage. But I don't think they can reach the Scathis. He's cunningly put it right in the bottom right-hand corner. That Scathis can reach them. Gonna need to build some rapid fire artillery, I think, to reach the Scathis if they want to trade blow for blow. Ugh. Whaler attack from Bury the Light going after this Novak satellite station is going to get absolutely rinsed by that horde of ASFs. It's the one thing I think they're still ahead on, at least. Tron with 391 air superiority fighters, Bury the Light with 309, so definite advantage there. But neither team really using air that much offensively. Both of these massive hordes of ASFs predominantly just being used as a deterrent against their opponent's air force. That can change, of course, on a dime. When the facts on the ground change. 3 broadswords tickling away at the shields on this little base over here. Air wing dispatched to intercept. They will get shot down. No trouble there. Ooh, teleporter on the way for Johansa. And I know I groan about it. Although he might just be using it to move around like Dr. Soviet did earlier. But I grumble about it less when it's not a Cybran comm. We haven't got the huge chest laser on there. Feels more legitimate going in there with the T3 engineering suite. That's what he's got. And he's 50% complete. And the Scathis is firing. Oh, and Tron is having power trouble. What a terrible time for that. All the shields are down. He takes a little bit of damage personally in that. Look at the hole that is torn in the center of his base. Johansa struggling with mass to finish this teleporter. He's got no base left to speak of. So this could be a suicide attempt. Oh, look at this. This has gone so badly for Team 1, considering how well it was going just a while ago. Yeah, it's still a 5v3, but it's 2 bases, basically, with a little extra here and there. Got mass fabs running for a Dewar, and he's got some bases, forward bases over here. But this is dire. He's completed it. Oh, he is going for gun, so he needs that gun upgrade. I think that's probably sensible. Doesn't have access to T3 point defense. Not that you'd want to be spamming that up in a serious situation. But look at this. So, anticipating an attack on the Scathis. Bury the Light spamming up Cerberus turrets. Not that they're great for just about anything. His comm routed to the spot over here. It's not currently telling us what he's upgrading. There's a lot of conversation.
Strategic launch detected.
Another nuke out. Nuke launcher forward up over there for Bury the Light. That drop in power was really unfortunate for Team 1. That wreaked so much havoc. Nuke sent up north. That's where that nuke from Bury the Light went. Helping Slado, who is just weighed down in a quagmire over here, entrenched in combat on this northern edge. Can't really do much of anything else. This whole remit is just keep Jip and Adua out of their territory. Okay, upgrade complete. Teleport away. Must be going here. There it is. Takes damage. Can he finish off the Scathis? Yes, he can! Wow. Okay, so Johansa's out, but he's bought his team some time. The Scathis is dead. He had no base left anyway. He got another volley away, but is the shielding up? Sometimes hard to tell with Aeon shields. It is up. That last volley clatters onto the shield. Doesn't breach through. Lots of conversations, a TML snipe of something, which I missed somewhere. And if you do say anything, chaps, like that, do bung it in the comments section below. I'm always interested to read your comments, as are everybody else. See a battle such as this, there's always lots going on which I can't address everything, too much to the annoyance of many of my viewers, I know. And while you're down there, give us a like and subscribe already if you haven't done so, for goodness sake. What is wrong with you? This far into the video and you haven't clicked like? Definitely worth seeing the doctor about that. 3 megaliths standing guard of that northern perimeter. Slado really putting the Ravager to work in his defense up here. Now where is the emissary fire going now? It looks like it's targeting Slado directly, who is under shield coverage, but he's well up front. And he needs to be a bit careful because there's a lot of that, but he's probably so focused on that northern fringe. Dear, the shields have failed. Slado Noob down to 6,400. He's on the move. He's recognized the threat, but now he is forced to dodge left, right, and center. How did that get him? How did that get him? Okay, it's delayed splash damage from the emissary. It connected. It's a bit like the Miasma, the T2 variant. It does a little bit of damage over time, I believe. So it took him down deep into the red, but the damage wasn't finished being applied. The shield blinked on, giving him coverage. Control cases go to Horny Jail. It's now a 2v4. And Team 2 have lost their highest rated player left in the game. It's now 2 1700s versus a 1600. A 2100, a 2200, and a 2300. But Team 2 massively up in eco by some 600 mass per tick. 1.8k versus 1.2k. It's neck and neck on generated eco, but of course I would imagine with this income that will change now in favor of Team 2. Reclaim, Team 1 are ahead, and that is ticking up much faster than Team 2, who've got virtually no reclaim there at all. But look at Bury the Light. Bury the Light, in terms of reclaim, he has pulled in 500,000 mass just on his own. That is insane amounts of reclaim. So there's probably not much left on his side of the map. Not much mass left to get to. One lone GC getting stuff done for Tron in the bottom left-hand corner. As we march steadily towards the 1 hour mark in this game, and still I don't know where we are on finding a resolution to this. Jip and Edua can't seem to break this position, although maybe now that Nightblood is handling it and not Slado, they might find a weakness. Nightblood has this whole front line to be concerned about now. Hello, not going straight for a rebuild of the Scathis. Going straight for Mavor production instead, and that was moving up very, very quickly. I'm guessing Bury the Light had a huge amount of mass. Oh no, there he is. He's still got some left in the tank. Ready for
Strategic
recall.
launch detected.
What has he built on his commander that makes him ready for recall? So, nano repair, going for advanced nano repair, and he's got advanced RAS on there already. That's a regular nuke still. It hasn't rebuilt the Yolana Ross or anything. Where is this heading? Looks like it's heading towards Dr. Soviet, whose commander is bang on its trajectory. Does he recognize the threats? Oh, he's lucky. He is lucky, because I think that would have got him, but it strayed just a little bit too far into the range of this SMD back here. I'm curious. Yeah, I mean, even if it was down here, it would have shot. He would have had to have landed it right here and hoped that Dr. Soviet didn't move out of that position or out of that blast radius, which I think he probably would have done. GC for Tron getting uncomfortably close to Bury the Light's southern base. A large push now from Jip, who has sent a big old force down this direction as opposed to continuing the pressure this way. That's probably because he's got a large megalith problem heading in that position, in that direction. There's not a lot that can stop 3 megaliths over here, but of course the closer they get to this base, then they'll be able to attack it with gunships. They already have a bunch of T2 there, and I was mentioning before, they needed a salvation, a rapid-fire artillery. They've got one, and that will be able to reach down here. And that's going to be hard now to defend that Mavor really hard. You know, I've got a while to go before that thing's complete. It's only half cooked. Titans on that initial attack from Jip finally finished off. Lots of fresh reclaim though for Bury the Light. He'll be happy with that. Very comfortable positioning. And there's still 3 Ithotas. There's so many Ithotas coming out of Bury the Light. He is just an Ithota making machine. Shades of the midwife from our first kid the wife and I had. She was very new age and very hippie, and making her way through the birth, my wife as she was, the midwife stopped to say things like, "You're a baby making machine." I know it's not the right time to laugh when your wife is screaming in agony, but I did have a chuckle. There's an interesting graphical glitch going on here. Look at that. What is going on there? Answers in the comment section below. Jip, if you're seeing this, you're still in the game, so there's no reason you shouldn't be still be watching. What on earth was that bug? That graphical glitch. There it is. You can see it's still there. Very unusual. I might have seen that once or twice before, you know. And if you zoom out, look, it's got little projectiles. If you zoom in the right level, it's disappeared now, is it? Darn it. I swear I saw little projectiles coming out of it at the map level. One lone T3 mechs belonging to Dr. Soviet just getting mobbed by T1 bombers. Ithotas valiantly pushing up the western approach. There's Jip's comm, getting a T2 upgrade. There's Dr. Soviet. A Dewar right at the back at the top of the screen.
Strategic launch
Tron.
detected.
Still hasn't moved. Still hasn't moved. He's built some more T1 point defense around him, but he still hasn't moved. He has a bet with someone. Go a whole game without moving. Well, they've managed to keep the Megalith alive. The Megalith? What am I talking about? Managed to keep the Mavor alive for most of its construction so far. Up to about 7,000 hit points. Has the Salvation targeted somewhere else? Yes, it has. Going for unshielded targets further north. There's a lot of reactors here to take out. Lots of mexes. 7,500 hit points complete. 7,600, 7,700. Looks like they will get that puppy operational. Obligatory gunship defense being brought out to combat the inbound experimental threat. We never actually witnessed the demise of the megaliths. There's one of them left. I think the other two have probably been cannibalized since then, but I'm sure they would have died to gunship pressure. That is the usual state of affairs. Now, once again, the Mavor is now receiving, or at least the shields protecting the Mavor is receiving salvation fire. Bury the Light needs to get on a mass shielding operation ASAP. But look at this. This is the key shield here, a Seraphim shield gen supported by tons and tons of hives. Every time a rapid fire shell lands, it is instantly recharged. now they've got a Mavor. They just need to keep that up. Oh, what have we got here? Dr. Soviet with a saucy little maneuver, an attempt, I'm guessing, to build some TAC missile base. Oh, lay of the land, throwing off the inbound T1 bombers. He's going to evac to safety. Back up to the top of the screen. I applaud the sentiment. It didn't quite work out how they'd hoped. And now there's Mavor fire going in the other direction. Looks like they've locked onto Tron. Shielding starting to weaken around this commander. It's all going to go down at the same time, potentially leaving him vulnerable. Mavor exceptionally accurate compared to other long-range artillery. Oh my god, all the shielding's gone down. Just say it's accurate, and it goes a little bit long on the next one, and now he's finally forced to move. He has to control K. Some of his own T1 PDs to move, but the next inbound shell gets him. Tron is down and out. Of course, it doesn't deal with the salvation. So everything is going to be transferred over to who? It's Edua. Yeah, ping's going down, saying protect that, assist shields. That would be where I would expect the Mavor fire to land. So it's now a 3v2. In terms of eco, though, it's flat. 1.4k apiece. It's even. Big old Titan assault bot incursion down the western approaches from Jip. Followed up with a Tsar and that massive air wing of, formerly of Tron's, now of Edua. Looks like he's got enough to defend against anything. 436 ASFs. Bury the light. 259. He could easily pull off a kill on the Tsar with that, but he's going to lose his air force. So he's going to be reluctant to do that. Shields down. Are they? No, they're not. I thought they were for a moment. Oh. Novak's locking on to that. Oh my goodness, they were trying to bring in the experimental bomber. If they had managed it and it had shot down, that would have been the end of the salvation, and that would have been a massive advantage over to Team 2. Somehow they're just managing to keep this shield gen powered enough to protect the salvation. So the Tsar has come down here with a bunch of restorers. Now this could be a play on the Mavor. Shield gen. Oh, shield gen sort of buckling all by itself under salvation pressure. Another shield gen gets constructed. But there's not much down here on the bottom of the screen in the way of SAMs and flak. In comes the air attack. Bury the light standing nearby. He needs to sacrifice all of these, if necessary, to kill off this restorer attack. He cannot allow the restorers through, because they will kill off the Mavor. But the Mavor, I think, yep, claims a second victim, and this time it's Jip out over here. So he took his target off the salvation and went after Jip, who was out in the open. It is now a 2v2. In come the restorers. There's a lot of them still standing. Engineers hurriedly building flak, but I don't think it's going to be enough. It's not. Down goes the shields. There's still a couple of restorers left. They've drifted off map down here. Pretty sure that's unintentional, and they are attacking the Mavor. Bury the light, hurriedly trying to upgrade and build new shields. Oh, yeah, that was a mistake. You should have stayed on that one. That was about to ping up But the Restorers kill off the Mavor. They're all screaming ban because it was off map. I mean, that's clearly unintentional. But, oh god, it needed more flak. And you can see there's SAMs going up here now to guard against that happening in the future. But the damage is done. The Mavor is down. It has leveled the game in terms of player count. Team 2 still just about ahead on generated eco. There's not that much in it, but Team... Oh! I was about to say Team 1 still have a salvation, but it's nearly dead. And there were still Mavor shells coming in. You can see there's another one about to land. That Novak satellite still circling overhead, but I don't think that's going to break through. Is that a second? Hang on a minute. Is it? That's not Mavor inbound Mavor shells. That's a Duke on the front line belonging to Nightblood. You can bet that's going to be the new focus of the Salvation, and indeed I can see inbound shells on their way now. 1 hour and 7 minutes, and it still could go either way, although you have to admit, all throughout this game, ground focus from Bury the Light has been so strong up here, and the last 10-15 minutes, it's all been from Team 1 pushing down in this direction. Down goes the support commander or two around the Duke. The Duke is not far behind it, just 900 hit points left. 200 hit points, and down it goes. Nightblood evacuating the area with his commander. Not a terrible decision. Nuke out from Bury the Light in the east. And now he's starting work on rebuilding the Mavor. Has the wreck, of course, so has some 50% building advantage on building it fresh. Gets to rebuild it rather than start anew. Nuke inbound. Is this one going to get shot down? Going for too much? No, or going for very little. Just taking out some air defenses in the center here. I mean, it's just for the sake of firing it, really. You haven't got much of any kind of air force left. It's not really going to help you. 3 fat boys belonging to Dr. Soviet just blanketing the area down here in a hail of artillery fire. Admittedly, it's all civilians. But why not? Shock and awe and all that. Nightblood still holding the line over here, but the attacks from Team 1 have completely petered out in the north. We've got some inbound unit pressure. We've got a couple of Titans kicking around here. Another little group a bit further back. So many fatties. And a Colossus to boot, and there's just not a lot on the ground over here. Megalith down here, which is nice. A nice little group of Percys there. Nice bank of Ravagers. Clink Hammers. So there's a lot of defences. You've got to give it that. ACU. What's derp? What? So there's now an operational Mavor for Adura, and that surely is game. They'll all be firing on this position just as the Mavor is about to be recompleted in the bottom right hand corner. Bury the Light now going to be facing Salvation and Mavor fire, I would imagine, in this bottom right hand corner. That's going to be impossible to keep out. Yeah, look at that combination. Punching power of the Mavor and the accuracy plus the blanketing anti-shield effect of the Salvation. There is no way out of this. Down goes the Mavor. Bury the Light's comm standing right by it. I'm sure he'll be next. Got 16,000 HP, but 1 or 2 Mavor shells to the noggin will sort that right out. Shields blink back on. Massive attack underway in the center, drawing a lot of fire though. I think that's all going to get annihilated, to be honest, but they don't even need it anymore because the Mavor will get the job done. Bury the Light taken out by Adua's massive super weapon that's not phallic in any way, shape or form. It is now a 2v1 and it is two operational experimental artillery pieces 2-0. Nightblood with no way to consistently hit back against this awesome inbound firepower. He's got one Duke operational near his comm. And you can see they're wasting no time, just going straight after Nightblood's commander. Why would you not? Oh, and the emissary fire all coming down with it as well. That Duke is going to be done. Nightblood's comm shortly after. It's a question of when, not if. Front line holding perfectly. Although 4 fat boys might get the job done. That's a lot of inbound artillery fire. But the shield around Nightblood's comm collapses. He makes a move to get back under what operational shields remain. Down goes another one. That emissary almost connecting perfectly with the ACU. This doesn't look good. Down to 5,000 hit points. Salvation comes in on top. The emissaries get the job done. Boom! At 1 hour, 12 minutes and 20 seconds, Team 1 emerged victorious. And what a wonderful ebb and flow to that game. They were in the lead, Team 1, early doors, it had to be said. Although I suppose very initially, it might have even been Team 2. And then Team 1 took over. All of the aggression thrown down on the northern front. We did lose Control K in the very first few minutes. Then disassembly went not long after that. Something near around half an hour. And then Team 2 got going and slowly fought back. Made some real headway down here. There was that wonderful attack up the western approaches. Took down multiple bases. Then Tron got taken out by the Mavor. And it honestly looked like that was going to be game. But they held on. They managed to build a salvation, keep it alive. They played better. They eliminated 3 Game Ender artillery pieces. 4 Game Enders in total if you include the Yolana Os from Wi-Fi in the first half of the game. Major, major props. I don't know who to give MVP to. I know he didn't work out. I want to give MVP to Bury the Light because he was instrumental in the comeback, which didn't actually materialize in a win. But at the same time, Tron was so very strong. His base was the linchpin of Team 1. I don't know. You decide. Tell me in the comment section who deserves MVP for that one. I'm staying out of it. Hope you enjoyed it, guys. Please, please, please do check out the Patreon. We've got some, I think, 83 casts up on there now for your viewing pleasure. They are premium casts with no ads in them, and they will remain as premium casts, I think, for the moment, certainly. Some people suggesting I should slowly eat them out onto the YouTube channel, but I have no plans to do that. I want content and value to be there for my my real dedicated crew who are there hanging out with me regularly on Discord. So if you like the idea of that, guys, it's a mere $1 a month. Please do go and check that out. It's a great way to support me going forward. Thank you for your attention. Today was certainly a long one. I appreciate you, and I hope you have a good weekend coming up. You deserve it. Until next time, guys, stay well and stay safe. This is Guile, signing out.